Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I am Katie with ProNotary, and today I have Gabriel with Idiomatic. So Gabriel, can I have you go a little bit into your business and what you guys do?
Yeah, sure. So firstly, thanks very much for having me on. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. So my name's Gabe, and our company is called Idiomatic. We are
Let
a
me call you
translation
back.
company,
Go ahead. All right.
and we provide certified translations in over 150 different languages. So, what is a certified translation? That essentially means a translation that is done by a professional company, and they can be used for official purposes. It has to be submitted to the government, to U.S. immigration, to a translation that needs to be used for an apostille. If you have to apostille a document, um, any formal setting. And I actually met Katie through a notary referral network, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Um, and we focus a lot on offering translations and helping notaries and apostille agents provide translation services because they're two services that really go hand in hand and they fit well with one another. It's a very overlapping market.
Yeah. And so I wanted to kind of delve into how to partner and like how to utilize your company like in order to get more clients because some of the things that we run into as notaries, like when you're first starting out, is the fact that you will get requests, especially if you are Iran and start working with international clients, you will get requests for specialized languages. And so like I was just talking with Eileen, like I don't speak Spanish, so I do have other notaries that do speak Spanish so that I can, pass work back and forth. But some of the more uncommon dialects, like Mandarin, um, I would usually have to like turn down or, give away that work. So by partnering with Gabriel, um, it it is a whole different ballgame where you can say, you're like, yeah, okay, I can get someone on here that can help facilitate the language barrier, and then we can go ahead and get this notarized. So I wanted to kind of go into how does it work to contact you to be able to get this started and like the price points, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So um, what I'd what I'd say first, we working with notaries, one of the points that we promote, we do have a community. We have an affiliate community, and I mention this because we're more than happy to help you with translations. If someone gets in touch and you get in touch, they need a translation, you get in touch with us. We're happy to help. I bring up the affiliate community point first, um, because if you, as an affiliate, as a notary affiliate, request a translation, then you earn commission on that. There's no fine print, there's no limit to that. It's 20% commission on every translation sold. So if you sell a translation that's $100, you would get a $20 commission. And again, there's no cap on that, no limit. Um, Now, what are the uses for a notary for translations? We found that there's two main branches that you could have. If you have a website or if you have a LinkedIn profile or social media, you can promote the service just as you would your notary business. You can promote translation as an accompanying business to your to your notary services, or if you process apostilles. For example, um, you have a client who gets in touch with you as a notary. Hey, okay, I have this document. I need it notarized, but also I need it translated because I have to submit it to wherever. Do you know who I could talk to? Yeah, we can do it all for you. So you could essentially become a one-stop shop offering uh, translation services and notarizations. And again, if you process apostilles or whatever else. The other option is really offering translations as a standalone service. There's a huge demand. The supply of good translation companies is not very high. You have a lot of times you have one-stop shops, or sorry, one-man shops who may not offer so many different languages all in one place. So if you put that information on your website, you have a storefront that's working 24 hours a day. And if you have your website optimized well for web search, people will come, they can click on your site, order through your affiliate link that you would have, and you ideally would generate passive income from that. So those are the two main avenues we see. And as far as pricing, we charge per page. It's a flat rate per page. It doesn't depend on the word. So it's either $30 or $40 a page. Um, Most, let's say, European languages, so Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, are 30. And non-European languages, Chinese, Arabic, Hebrew, Korean, are 40 a page. And that's, again, very transparent. Um, for interpretations, uh, we focus them for very simple notary signings, but we do them as well for loan signings or anything more complex. And we charge $80 an hour, or if it's a half an hour session, we have a $50 flat fee. It really depends on what you're looking for, but we can help with that as well.
Okay. And yeah, so we were talking a little bit earlier, like if you have a signing that runs a little bit longer, it will run you a little bit higher, but usually for notaries, when you're working with different companies, you can do however you want because this is your own business, but I would pass on that fee to the clients, or to the law office, or to the title company that you're working with, just because that's something that they are incurring. So just kind of be upfront with that, where it's like, okay, this is the quote, but if it does take longer, it's going to be more. And usually when I frame things like that, like if it is more complex, it is going to be more. They don't really bat an eye because obviously that makes sense. So Gabriel, I wanted to ask you, what kind of things do you usually see for translations for documents? Like what would be the cause of someone that is seeking out document translation?
Um, Normally, it's either people coming in, so either people coming into the US. We had a case the other day where someone was importing their car from Japan,
Yeah.
and they had to get their, what is it, like, well, the vehicle registration translated and notarized to submit to the DMV. I think it
Yeah.
was for Florida, actually. So that's an example. People bringing things in, or
Mhm.
people moving into the country, and they say, well, um, I need to open a bank account here. I need my birth certificate from Colombia translated into English, and I need it notarized because I need to know it's real at the bank. So
Mhm.
that's one example. The other example are people leaving or people going out. Um, we have a lot of requests for translations for people who are retiring and moving to Spain, they move to Italy, they move to Mexico. Um, so you would need your FBI background check translated and apostilled, for example.
Okay.
So, because they have to know that you're not a criminal.
Mhm.
So you would have to get it translated. The translation would be notarized, and that notarized translation would then be apostilled. But of course, because it's being used in a country where they don't speak English, you have to have it in the language of the destination country. So
Mhm.
that's those are the two big cases, let's say, where people coming in or people going out.
Okay. And I just wanted to highlight that like the service that we're talking about is usually a higher price point for everything together. So if you can be like the source of like you can do everything, that is going to be monumental for your business. Just because like if you haven't already kind of delved into apostilles, uh, I mean, it's not regulated, so you can usually have it at a higher price point for the service that you're doing, paired with all of the other services that you would bring to the table. It makes sense to learn this industry and to start delving into this part of the business. Um, so I wanted to delve into a like specific niche just so that way we can kind of highlight what it is that you can go into, and that is the Italian citizenship, just because that's something that I already know about. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, according to Italian law, anyone whose great grandparents, I believe, were Italian citizens after the formation of Italy, which is like 1950 something, like
Evan?
Garibaldi's United Italy or whatever. Um, you are entitled, if you are a descendant of that person, you are entitled to Italian citizenship.
Mhm.
And more and more with everything going on in the world, a lot of people want a plan B, or they say, well, I want to go and study in a different country, or I want to retire in a different country. Um, Maybe it's not even necessarily Italy, but they say, well, now I have access to the European Union uh, with an Italian passport. So they have to fill out all the paperwork. And a big part of that is getting vital records of whatever family member. Of course, usually these things are would be in English. Maybe your grandfather was born in the US, but his father was born in Italy somewhere. So, all these vital records have to be translated into Italian. They have to be notarized and they have to be apostilled as well for the Italian consulate. Um, and that helps you apply for Italian citizenship. It's very document intensive. And, again, there's a lot of overlap between the translation and language side of things and the document legalization side.
And so one of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight or go into, just because this is something that I had been working on. There was a lot of people that found this out when they were bored during COVID and bored during the pandemic. They just started doing research like I did. And the price points for that, when I was quoted on doing it myself as like a regular person, was anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 to be able to get all of the documentation together. And that is something that you as the notary could do, or you as an individual could do, but usually people will not really blink an eye if they really, really want to get that citizenship.
Mhm.
It's not an insane price point to market. So it goes into a ton of different documents that you have to have. So like your marriage certificate, like all the way back to the original descendant. So, or ancestor. So it would be like your marriage certificate, anytime that you've come over to the United States, like all of that has to be documented, translated, and usually notarized throughout the whole entire process. So there's going to be like a ton of different pages that need to be dealt with. And that's something that you can use as a you can offer as a service to these different people that are, they don't have time to go to the secretary, to do all of the documentation, so that they just partner with someone else to do it. Um, and then do you have any other, like, I'm sure you do. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is students that are going to international. Can you dive a little bit into that as well?
Yeah, it's the process is pretty similar.
Mhm.
Uh, you'll have to Usually you'll have to show some sort of, criminal record certificate, and that will again have to be, if you're going to a place where they don't speak English, that'll have to be translated, notarized and apostilled. Um, Transcripts, usually some sort of proof of funds that you can support yourself while you're there, or if you have a scholarship, or I don't know, your parents are helping you, or bank extracts, or whatever. Those things have to be translated, notarized, and apostilled as well. And on the line of international things, um, when I mentioned that translation itself can be a standalone business, um, what I found within the notary community, most notaries have relationships with lawyers, different types.
Yeah.
Uh, the type of law by far that requires translation services, and as an accompaniment, does need notarizations. are immigration lawyers, family lawyers, and adoption lawyers for the same reasons, because you have people coming in, moving to the US, they're coming to study, they're coming to work, they're whatever. Um, this is where translations serve as a standalone service that you can market to people. So if you have a relationship within the legal community, you can say, well, we now offer, by working with a trusted partner, we now offer these services. Um, if you're interested or if you need them, you can find out more information here. Our partner, is fully compliant, uh, does thousands of translations for U.S. immigration every year. Um, and again, it's just an extra value that you can add as a business, and you diversify your revenue as well. So you don't just have to rely on loan signings. What happens if the mortgage rates go up or down again? Um, this is something that can help recession-proof your business and bring in more money. And again, diversification is key in any business, any healthy business.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the immigration. Like, what are the typical documents that you see for that get notarized?
So they get notarized. Birth certificates, marriage certificates, um, proof of funds, background checks, transcripts. Um, Again, it depends on what. It also depends on the lawyer. It depends on the state. It depends on
Yeah.
what court, for example, things are being submitted to. Not all immigration documents have to be notarized, but it depends on it's kind of like it depends on each immigration court. So again, it can be offered just as a translation, or you can offer if they need notarization. Again, that's the service that you provide yourself, which helps boost your business as well that way.
And another thing that I wanted to kind of highlight and kind of jump in, is that for affidavits, they could be on anything, but basically what I've seen is when I work with immigration lawyers, they want supporting statements from people around whoever it is that is getting like it, let's say citizenship. So it's if someone is marrying someone else that is a US citizen that they're trying to get that citizenship that way, usually the lawyer will recommend that people get affidavits of like support saying like, okay, I'm their best friend. They've been in this relationship for 3 years, that they it's just whatever they have to say, and then they have it notarized at the very end. So that way, when they're submitting it into the documentation, sometimes they have to do like interviews at the very end before they will be granted, citizenship to make sure that the validity of the marriage, stuff like that. Again, not a lawyer, but this is just what I've seen. That is something that you can get, like I've had 12 different affidavits from one person because she had to get so much supporting documents. So that is something that you want to talk to the law offices. Um, that is something that you want to talk to the law offices, and anyone that works with immigration documentation. So that way you will stand out as a person that like knows what they're talking about as far as doing these notarizations, and then also highlight the international aspect of it. So I wanted to go a little bit into marketing specifically for Ron's, is that when you walk into an immigration office, usually what happens is when you say like, oh yeah, I'm a notary, they're like, okay, well, we're notaries. But if you say I'm a remote notary, so that way, if you have clients that are in Spain that need stuff notarized, but they're still over there because they can't come over here because something hasn't been granted to get access to the United States, that would be usually a huge barrier. And so you can create a really good incentivization for them to be able to get their cases closed and everything kind of set up so that way that doesn't have to be a issue. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that you want to say that they will not have to go to embassies or consulates anymore. So that is something that is huge. And then, Gabriel, are you familiar with how difficult it is? I don't know if you wanted to talk about it or I can, for getting, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I lived a very large portion of my life in Spain, and
Okay.
I
Yeah.
needed, yeah, I needed 14 years or something like that, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
14 years. And I had to get a document notarized for the US to go to graduate school, actually. And I had to go to the Barcelona consulate. You have to obviously you have to get there. You have to wait in line. You have to make an appointment. I think it was $150 to get something notarized. And this is 10 years ago, probably. So quite expensive.
Mhm.
And just the whole process, it takes an entire day by the time you're done. We have helped a few clients, through the affiliate program and through our notary network, people who are in Spain who need something notarized, and just like you say, they hop on the RON, and in 5 minutes you're done.
Exactly. Yeah, because the other thing that I want to talk about when you are marketing towards law firms is that I know that, like, for me, I'm like, oh no, I'm bothering these people. And it's like, no, because you're creating a really good way for the lawyers to make the clients' lives easier. Because I had a law firm reach out to me and they were talking to me and they're like, I wish that I knew this literally last week because I made my client drive 2 hours to an embassy to be able to get this done. I'm like, well, just don't tell them that you could have just called me and then it would have taken like maybe 15 minutes. So that was like 5 hours of their day that was taken up. And then that doesn't even count like the last time that I looked for Tokyo to see how long it would take to get something notarized, it was a 3 month waiting period. So obviously, yeah. So obviously, like, there's not, like, don't feel bad about edging out the competition for consulates or embassies because usually the consulates and embassies don't want to do it anyway. So it's like that's fine. Just take the business and then you can do it instead because that's the general consensus that I get from the what from the attitudes of the people in the consulates or the embassies, like they don't really want to deal with the notarizations. So um yeah, that's kind of the attitude that I get from people that are talking about it. Um so that's kind of the questioning that I had. Is there anything else that, okay, we talked about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is for ProNotary. If you aren't already an affiliate, I sent out the code earlier in the email, but if you didn't already, let me see because I can find it. Um, if you can sign up for that as well. So even if you aren't necessarily a um member yet, if you sign up for the partner program and you refer others to us, you will get passive revenue or, revenue from that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link out there. Go ahead and click on that. And then when you sign up, the first time that you sign up, you get an automatic $50 credit, and then you would just have to have someone sign up under you, and then you would get that price point out as well. So that is $50 for each sale that you deliver. And then it's $100 payout. So we wait until you refer someone to us and then we pay you. So yeah, I wanted to dive into that. And then do you have any other marketing tips? Because like obviously I love marketing and talking about it. But do you have any other marketing tips specifically for immigration lawyers?
I think you hit on a good point of saying sometimes it feels intrusive to get in touch with people,
Mhm.
but uh, I'm very much a fan of a soft sell. Not like, well, you need this, you need this, you need this. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
we, you have this problem. I have a solution to make your life easier or solve this problem. Would you like to give it a try? If you don't like it, you don't have to use it anymore. But if you would, we're here. I can help you set it up now, or come back later and we'll still be around, or I can get back in touch with you in X amount of time. Uh, Most good marketing comes from explaining how you can help someone, not really what the advantages of your product are, but rather how maybe they have one specific use case. How can you help them solve that problem they have with what you offer? It's education, really. That's what we found in our business. It's just educating people on what they can do with what we offer.
Um, and then Rebecca asked, do you have people that sign so like American Sign Language?
Ah, yes, we do.
Okay.
Um, we actually have a couple uh, ASL, American Sign Language interpreters, who are notaries. So if that ever comes up, at least you have someone also who has an idea of a real idea of what they're talking about.
Okay. And then the other thing that I wanted to kind of highlight on is that most of the, like, Gabriel and I were talking in the interview before about the people getting signed on, and it seems like to get the sign on process, like everybody is up to date and tech savvy, for the most part, because that's always an issue that I am worried about. Is like I'm very particular about my witnesses, and then it's just the signers. I only want to really have to deal with the signers getting signed on, and
Mhm.
then it's helpful if anyone else that is getting signed on already kind of knows the deal and can get signed on easily. Um, so I did talk to Gabriel about that. The other thing that I wanted to kind of highlight and talk to everybody about is the fact that sometimes people will offer to have their relatives do the translations. Um, Gabriel, did you want to touch on that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I was going to mention something really quickly as well about. I think it would be good to explain how if you have a signer um, who's signing the document who doesn't speak English or wants someone to facilitate it for them, and you don't speak their language.
Mhm.
Um, Again, it depends on the state. Certain state notary statutes allow uh, the help of a third party interpreter. Others
Mhm.
don't. I know, for example, I know Florida does. New Mexico does, Arizona, quite a few states do. Essentially, what we have, uh, whatever language you need, we have that interpreter. You as the notary would send us the RON link so they can join. So at whatever time they would log on. Now, the only thing that we ask from our end, and we found this to be a real problem with Chinese signers. I think it's because of the firewalls they have in China. We always ask for the ID verification to be done beforehand. That's our only request, simply because we had one case where um, a run took about 3 hours because the signers, they were quite old and didn't know how to use their computer and didn't know how to do the ID verification. So, and we had to charge the client because it's our interpreter was online and had blocked off time for them. So for your benefit, for your client's benefit, for whoever's benefit, the only thing that we ask is that the ID verification is done ahead of time. Leading into what Katie was just saying, why work with a professional, a third party, rather than a relative? Uh, you can't have a relative, um, for example, in any sort of like immigration court or government setting, you can't have a relative translate something for you because there's a conflict of interest.
Yeah. And I've had to not almost gentle parent people into the fact that like if we use your daughter or, whatever, like it won't, well, one, I'm not going to do that. But two, it's not an unbiased person because technically, like I mean, we're notaries. We all know that sometimes families don't always have the best intentions with their other family members. Um, so I can't trust that that person is translating it in the way that it needs to be. Um, and I'm not going to do it. So it will not necessarily hold up because it just, yeah, I don't let people use family members or friends with a language that I don't understand. So you just kind of want to be able to gently deliver that um to anyone that is asking. And then that's the same thing for like sometimes title companies will also try and kind of get that through the gate, and that is something that is a non-starter for me. Um, Especially with some of the languages that you can't just kind of like piece it together if you know Spanish and then it's Portuguese, like okay. Like I just don't mess with it. So yeah, partnering with Idiomatic kind of covers your
All right,
own
no problem. So you can
um
go ahead and just, yep.
sorry, covers your own self too. So the clients and then also you as well, just so that way you're not in hot water too. So, um, and then I think, do we have anything else that we were gonna, I got a little bit off track, because I was reading what the chat said. Okay, so we have people, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but how much is it to use the translation? You said it was how much?
It was
Every,
80 for an hour and then 50 for 30 minutes.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then bypassing the embassy, but I came in on the end. If we use this platform? Okay, so when I say that if you bypass the consulate or the embassy, that means like you as the notary, can help the client bypass the consulate or the embassy. So let's say that you have a client that is over in Croatia and they need to get something notarized because that does happen. Let's say they're immigrating, let's say they're on vacation, let's say they're visiting family, and all of a sudden, sometimes there's a time sensitive document or whatever the case may be, they can't come over to the United States. Um, in the past, they would have to go to either a consulate or an embassy or come back to the United States to get a United States based notary to be able to do that notarization. That is a huge pain for most people. Like imagine having to go to the bank, but it's an embassy where they do all different types of things. They have to have a appointment for it. It is cost prohibitive compared to some of the other rates that, some of us as notaries might charge. So that's one of the things that you want to talk to with the title companies, law firms, anyone that you might work with for adoption agencies, things like that, immigration. Because the general consensus is that if you can skip the embassy or the consulate, it's better for you. Like laptop versus driving 2 hours to go to an embassy, standing in line, waiting, and then going back. So, um, sample documents that I need. Um, Eileen, I do not. Uh, Gabriel, do you have any sample documents for immigration lawyers for notarization on your website or anything like that? Like redacted or blank?
We do actually, yeah. What I guess what I could share is a sample of a translation that an original that we have all the personal information blacked out, the translation sample, and then what would be the cover sheet that has to be notarized. That's what I could offer and could share with you.
Okay.
Um, in that case, I think what an immigration lawyer would like to see is just that the translation isn't just a non-formatted block of text. It actually looks similar to the original, which our translations do. And again, the notary cover sheet, the cover sheet that has to be notarized, if applicable, it has to have certain wording, just depending on the state and depending on the immigration court. So I can share that with everybody.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then I think We have everybody's emails, so we can always go ahead and send that out. And then also maybe leave it in the, I'm pretty sure that I recorded this correctly, so we can put it, I read across your fingers. So that way we can put it on the ProNotary YouTube and then just have this as a resource as well. Rebecca, I don't know that I'm necessarily going to have a class about the forms or steps, but I will let you know if we do that. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to open it up for anyone that might have any questions, Gabriel, unless you have anything else that you think would be helpful.
The only thing I would add to this is the affiliate, for example, the affiliate program we have is, and the service that we offer. I understand that it can seem, well, really, what do I do here? How does this work? Uh, what's the benefit for me offering this? Um, we we're not a huge company. We're not a huge affiliate program. And what that allows us and me to do specifically is to talk with you. So if you have any questions, or if you think, hey, this could be something, I really think I could market this, and I really think that this could bring in, you know, a solid amount of revenue for me. The more effort and interest that you put in, the more that I'll put in. So if you really are serious about this and you'd like to learn how it works, tell me. I'm happy to talk. I'm happy to hop on a Zoom call. I'm happy to hop on the phone to help get things started.
And then to your point also, if you guys have not already signed up to the affiliate program, do it because your emails are really good. I was looking at them earlier, but like it's not even necessarily just about the translation. It like you also go into marketing,
Mm,
which is helpful for everybody. Everybody always needs help on marketing. But also like SEO and how to set up the website or set
mhm.
up some of this type of information. So it's not just like, okay, yeah, do this because we say that it's good. It's like, okay, this is the reasoning why, and this is how to do it. And here's a step by step. So good job for that because
I
it is,
appreciate it.
yeah, of course. Because it's difficult. It's difficult to come up with the different emails and really create that sense of community and everything like that. So yeah, that is also helpful. Um, okay, so Kay also asked, from your experience, have you come across any documents, any governments that don't accept RON notarized documents? Um, it's kind of, I'm gonna answer that one.
Yeah,
Well,
please.
yeah. Okay. So it's kind of case by case. So for the most part, as far as different governments that will not accept RON, sometimes it's a conversation with the recording office, but at the same time, when you are talking to your different clients, it is on them to make sure that the recording office will take those types of notarizations. So if you wanted to go to the extra mile, you can try and contact the recording office. I know that the other day we had a little bit of a question from, I think, the Embassy of Haiti. And I don't know what necessarily happened, but in general, it's not a huge deal if it is Iran, just because we have those laws in the United States in place that kind of help. But it's always kind of a hit or miss case by case where if someone's having a particularly bad day at the accepting office. So yeah. Um, and yes, so this is recorded. Everybody cross your fingers again that I'm going to be able to upload this. It's not going to be today, but if I upload this and then we can go ahead and put it on our ProNotary YouTube page. So just a little bit of a shameless plug. Go on to the ProNotary YouTube and subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We do a monthly webinar like this about specific things that are affiliated with Ron to help you build your business because obviously if you do more business with us, it also benefits us. So Do we have, oh, yeah, so I wanted to open it up in case anyone has any questions, you can ask us. You just have to unmute yourselves and then talk.
Question for Gabriel. If we go on yours to register, will you give ideas of how to put it on our websites or who to talk to or exactly? Because I don't want to just stick it out there. Oh, we do this. So you know what I mean? I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, we so when you register with us, um, we the only use that we have, we only use your information as part of the affiliate program and to send out a weekly newsletter. So that's what Katie's mentioning. Every week we send out a news blast, and some of it is some of it's related to, a new potential niche for offering translation services. A lot of it is about how to actually set up uh, how to set up the affiliate link. How does the actual process work? And again, we send these out weekly on a rolling basis. Everything that we send out, we also have in a blog section. So it's an education section on our website. You could go from the very beginning, and it would be like an instruction manual. You just kind of go from the very, very beginning and advance as you go. So everything is there. How to insert a link, um, where you could put on your website, how to create a landing page specifically for that, who to market it to. It's all there.
Perfect. Thank you. That's what I
Super.
was looking for.
And then do we have any other questions? Okay, so I see in the questions, talk for a minute. Okay, so there was a question within the chat about some of the benefits of ProNotary. So I did want to go over a little bit of that. We have one of the best pricing out there as far as there's no variable pricing for the actual sessions. So by sessions, I mean, like, let's say you send out something to someone else, it's only going to be $10. So for some of the other companies, it kind of depends on like per stamp or per seal. And I just wanted to really highlight that it's only $10 per session as you send them out. And that is a pretty nice benefit because like I've used some other companies where I wasn't really paying attention to how many seals it was. And I charged $50 and then the total from that company came out to 97. So I paid them to work. So it's something that you want to look into. We do have the monthly fee of like if you're just starting out, the monthly fee is $59 a month. And that's for right now. I don't know, like if you're watching this recording, it might be different. But it's
Hey,
$59 a month
Katie,
and
how much did you say it was a month?
59.
Okay.
$59 a month, and then it's $10 each transaction. So if you're doing something with the seals that are like a lot, like let's say you have an estate package or you have something that has a lot of seals, it would make sense to, use ProNotary for that. Yep, Bill, regardless of number of seals, yes. So you can do as many seals as you want. Usually what ends up happening is people just put it together in a PDF, like for however many documents, because we do have a document limit. I don't know, I would have to look, but we do have a document limit. Mostly what people do is just smash it all together in one PDF. And then just send it out to the signers, and then it's $10 regardless of how many seals that you put. It is not Fidelity approved at this time. We are working on it, but it's not Fidelity approved yet. So we are MISMO approved. So for like First American or those types of underwriters that do care about that, we are MISMO approved. So we also are SOC 2 approved, which is another thing that people usually look for when they are doing the different platforms. I will say that most law firms do not care if we are MISMO approved or not. They do not know what that is because that's like more for mortgages. Law firms basically just care about how easy it is for the clients to get signed on. So we do have an easy sign-on process, and then we have an automatic sign-on link where you can just send it right to the client, and then they can click on it, and they can either skip the ID process for when you're in the session, or you can do it, or they can do it like a little bit prior. So makes things easy. Um, uh, do you provide comprehensive training on the platform? Oh, sorry. Do you provide comprehensive training on the platform? Yes. So we have a YouTube page that goes over all of the different things that you would want. That is something that is also being added to as the clients ask for different things to go over. We're adding to it. So if you have any like questions about how to do something specifically, it's most likely going to be me answering you and doing a loom and then uploading it onto the our YouTube. And then what was the other question? Comprehensive training. Also, we do an onboarding. So for right now, when you get signed on, we do a one-on-one onboarding. So I ask that you go through the training. And then at the end, we go through the session on how to actually use the software because we want you to be able to use it. And then Bill also asked if ProNotary offers open calls. We do not. But one of the other things that I wanted to really, really highlight is that so open call, for any of you that might not know, is if you, like if we offer leads or if we offer jobs, we don't. But we also don't market towards any of your clients, and they will also not get confused and go into the program to get into an open call instead of your clients. So that is something that is nice. If we are contacted by a client of, let's say, yours, to get something notarized, we'll just say, we're the software company, but just go to whoever originally did the notarization for you. So there's no confusion as to ProNotary is a software company. And we're not going to do anything with any of the clients that you might have brought onto the platform. So. Do we have any other questions? Rebecca, I don't know if you were talking, but you're on mute again. Sorry.
I was trying to hurry up and write a question. Like a lot of the notarizations are stored, and if so, how long?
Oh, yes, so they are. We take care of the storage and the documentation for your journal, and that is for the 10 years that is required. You do have access to it if you ever have any, like, if you want to go in and look at it. And then some states you have to have a secondary bank for it. So
Yeah.
we also give that to you. And then you have 24/7 access to it. So like, let's say a law firm is like, hey, can we get the recording for that? You can just go on there and download it and then send it, whatever your state allows.
Okay, yeah, Texas, we have to have them downloaded onto a hard drive, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And do we have any other questions before we wrap up? Okay. So I wanted to thank everybody for coming on. This was a really, really good turnout. I'm really, really happy. So thank you guys for coming on. Gabriel, thank you for coming on and sharing all of your knowledge. And we'll talk later because I have a project that we were talking about a little bit earlier, but
Excellent.
yeah.
Thank you for
Okay.
having me on.
Did you send a request for my phone number? No. No, I didn't request anyone's phone number, so I don't know what is that. Yeah, don't give out a phone number for anyone. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This is the website as well. So it's idiomatic affiliates.com. and then go ahead on to ProNotary, and then you'll be able to scroll down a little bit to the partner program. So that way, in case you didn't catch those links, you'll be able to go ahead and go on as well. So if you're watching this as it is being recorded, I'm also going to leave those links in the bottom of the description as well. So thank you guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.